Hi, I'm Laurie Dobson. Today is January 20th, 2021. And before tomorrow has its day, the inauguration, I wanted to put some ideas forward to think about, to hope for the best outcome during the day, and for people to think about and think through and come to some understanding what I'm hoping to share with them, and hope it spurs on some others to put forward their ideas, their best ideas of freedom. So the first one, I'm going to talk about what we think, and then what our actions are to be, and then consequences. Feelings get involved in there somewhere. So I am using a speech of a Reverend Burkle who spoke on the assassination of Martin Luther King and had some thoughts about the trial of James Earl Ray. So some of this that I'm going to read, which I think is very profound, about urging people to think, has to do with that particular point in time. And he spoke to a group of people. Some people get their bodies involved because they don't get their minds involved. And that's important because at this point we need minds. And we've got plenty of bodies on every corner. Jails are full of them. And every time a game is played, stadiums are or used to be packed. So human bodies are not a problem. Human minds working is the problem. And what we have to do is build up a thinking army, an army of thinkers, people who can actually think. Because thinking is very simple, and most people it never occurs to most people that they should learn to do it. So because people get jobs, they don't have to think. You can sell labels and take money and buy things. As long as you have a job, you don't have to think about it or think about your life. You've got your mortgage to pay, etc. But of course, we promote that kind of non-thinking because we assume that it is easier to manage non-thinking people. And you don't have to worry about them, because with thinking people, you have to always deal with them at the government level, because once a person is a thinker, a person is a government. They are governing because they are thinking. And that is what a government is. It directs thought. A government is a thinking person. So when we say the government, we mean a thinking person or a group of thinking people. And that's a sovereignty means a person who is in possession of themselves, or a sovereign nation or a group of people. They're in possession of themselves. They know they are a free entity that is free to act on its own behalf and for the best interests of itself. And Lyndon LaRouche had said, nations fall because they move on erroneous ideas. And I think also administrations and people fall on those same ideas. It isn't the personality that's the issue. It is the strength of the person's ideas. Ideas make the man. The Germans who came up with these erroneous ideas actually failed because they acted on these ideas during Nazi era. The ideas were not true, and therefore they were operating on that which was not real. And if you operate on that which is not real, just the very operation of that causes failure. It has nothing to do with an element. It has just to do with the error of the calculation. But let me take that a step further, and so you can get involved in what I'm talking about. Not only do nations fail because of erroneous ideas acted on, all human beings fail as individuals and as groups of individuals for the same reasons. We acting on erroneous ideas. Mahatma Gandhi said, if you live in a social system and that social system is not just, and your daily life is used to working to survive in that unjust system, you are the cause of that problem. So, see, that's what most people don't understand, because we in America are in America, and James Earl Ray did not get a fair trial. And most of you would assume that that's somebody else's responsibility to make sure they get a fair trial, right? Or take any topic today that feels unfair for a more current example. But ask yourself the question, well, how is that any more of someone else's responsibility than it is of yours? That's an erroneous concept, that maybe the Attorney General should get him a proper trial, or the governor, the prosecutor of the city, or the FBI, or maybe Congress. But no, that responsibility falls squarely on the shoulders of the American citizen to see to it that people get a fair trial. The people, the body of people, and its individuals. That's the American citizen's responsibility. That's the work of American citizens. And I would add, that's their accountability to the system to make sure it works. And so, okay, when American citizens don't do work that is their work to do, when that work goes undone, then everybody is ill affected because that work is not done. I will just end and say that it ends with the statement, now the way things work in God's universe is this: if you do not stand up for justice, justice will not stand up for you. We already understand the concept of that. It's always in our enlightened self-interest to stand up for others. But I would just say it's our very identity that's at stake every time we make that decision. And we don't have any freedom from the requirements that are on us. And I think freedom is requirement accepted. Thank you.